Good morning, Colorado. Kyle Danielson here. Welcome to Wildcats Canyon. In today's episode, my wife Jenna and I are driving to Pueblo, Colorado so we can pick up an old piece of railroad history. Plus, I will rediscover my winter driving skills. Stick around for our adventure today. You're not going to want to miss this. Well, the weather worked out pretty perfectly today. Just a couple of days ago, we were getting massive snowstorms, dumped a couple feet on southwestern Colorado, but the roads are now very clear. Looks like the road department's keeping up with it. To give you guys an update, Jenna and I got married back in October. I'll throw up a couple pictures here and there, but not too many because those are for the family. I was finally able to upgrade my videography devices too. I've now got a GoPro Hero 9, so hopefully can film in a lot higher resolution, do a lot better slow-mo and time-lapse. Plus the image stabilization on a GoPro is really nice. Coming at you in high definition. So the primary objective for today, driving all the way to Pueblo, is, as I said a little earlier, we're picking up a switch stand. What you would use a switch stand for in the terms of railroading is to move the points, basically change tracks. I'm not sure what the history on this particular switch stand is, but it is probably 1920s, 1930s if I were to guess. The guy was offering it for a really good deal, just unimaginably cheap. Seemed like a really good excuse for a road trip too. We've been having cabin fever, something fierce. So it just feels nice to get out of the house at the very least. It's gonna be kind of a long car ride for us. Assuming that the roads are perfect and fine, it's about 4.5 hours out there and 4.5 hours back. We'll get plenty of shots for you. I did bring the drone along too, so we'll get some cool overhead shots of beautiful southwestern Colorado covered in a very heavy blanket of snow. We're rolling through the town of Pagosa Springs here in just a little bit. Pagosa Springs is where I grew up. My family moved out from California in 1998. I did my school career, graduated in 2012. It was a very nice community to grow up in. Very quiet, very peaceful. In the latter years of my school career, so that'd be junior and senior years of high school, I discovered, like many towns here in southwestern Colorado, that it was served by a railroad. Originally the Rio Grande, Pagosa Springs and Northern in 1899, which is when they built the rail line. Served as a lumber operation all the way up until the mid-1930s, 1934, 1935. I'll have to come back this summer, do a little video on the railroad history out here, because there's still quite a bit to see. Not super exciting stuff, but you might find it kind of fun. It's all part of the adventure. Quick stop in Del Norte for some snacks.
Body armor.
Water from me.
Some crackers and some Reese's Pieces.
Pringles. Box of my goodness.
Express as the champions.
All right, we just finished our meetup with Tony, real nice guy, owns an orthodontist, runs an orthodontist. He is an orthodontist. He recommended us to this place right behind us, Bingo Burger, but we'll show you what we bought from him. So it may not look like much, but this switch stand was very, very heavy, probably like 200 pounds. And it came with two targets, a yellow one and a red one. I'll have to take a look at this thing in detail later, see if it has any stamping on it, but it's very, very nice. Nice little bit of sandblasting and some paint. That'd clean up really nicely. All right. Finished our meal a little while ago, just filled up at the gas station. We're taking a different route back. We're gonna go Canyon City to Salida and then down the Gun Barrel instead. So a little bit different scenery this time, but now that we got the switch stand in tow, we're about 300 pounds heavier. So if we come across snow and ice, we should be okay. Now, onwards. So I think we've gone most of the trip without answering the important questions. Kyle, why in the world do you want to get a switch stand? Or more specifically, why in the world did you buy one? I do plan on using it someday, but its final purpose needs to be kept a secret. But don't worry, you all will see it in time. I'm just super thankful that my wife allows me to spend money on railroad stuff. I think most women wouldn't allow that. Having the chance to buy a piece of history makes it feel like you're continuing on its story. For instance, Tony told me that this switch stand came from a friend of his that used to work for the railroad, and the switch came from a yard in Trinidad. Now, as I said, I gotta actually flip the switch stand over and look at it closely to see if it's got any reporting marks on it, like Denver and Rio Grande Western, Colorado and Southern, or Santa Fe. It's not very likely that a switch stand would have a stamp on it, at least after a certain time period. The really early ones in the 1900s would be cast into the metal, and as time went on, they just stamped it instead. This particular stand is a fun one, so it's got the cast-in step on the side, which means that you could put a switch stand lantern on top of it, which we also have a switch stand lantern back at home, so eventually that'll be mounted on there, all purdy-like. Well, we've just about rejoined Highway 160 going back to Pagosa Springs in Durango. Pretty much the same scenery going back that way as you saw a little earlier in the video, so I won't bore you with that. I'll take this opportunity to sign off for the day. Thank you all for coming out and joining us on our adventure. I hope you had just as much fun as we did out there. Now may God bless you, and take care.